Hello, it is one day after the world has ended, January 21st, 2025. And one day after Trump has assumed office of the greatest country in the world. Sadly, we'll see if we're continue to hold that title after, the next 4 years have passed. But today I wanted to I just want to take a quick second and address something that was particularly concerning to me at least. Um, over the course of yesterday, we heard, several speeches from Trump. I think we saw a lot characteristic of of his agenda during his inauguration. The fact that in the very front row were all tech billionaires that own some of like the largest media companies in the United States. I think that that's concerning that that's your front row. And second row at your inauguration is guess who? All your all your cabinet picks. Just kind of goes to show your priorities. Well, I won't speak too much on that because I don't really care, right? We can hypothesize and say a bunch of stupid shit about that till the cows come home. It's a cute little talking point. It's a stupid little fact, but like that's not really the meat of this. Who cares? Um, I think what's most concerning were some of the executive orders signed. One of these was a hiring freeze, which had directly affected me and my job applications to various federal agencies, such as the EPA. Um, so that's cool. I didn't think that he would bend me over and fuck me within the first day, but here we are, taking it up the ass. Let's see. So there's that. What else? But again, really not what I came here to talk about. I think that the hiring freeze was largely like the kind of utters Vivek Ramaswamy's talking points of the bureaucrat bureaucratization. That didn't even I'm missing a syllable right there. I'm not set bureaucratization. God, that word just stumps me sometimes. But the over bureaucratization of let's see. I think I was just overthinking that word. Of the government, right? There's too many people working for here, too many, let's drain the swamp. I think this is him trying to accomplish that goal when like most of the people that work for the government are like honest, hardworking scientists, data entry, shit like that. Like these are all good, hardworking Americans that work for the government. Like these guys are fucking awesome and they're essential. So there's that. He withdrew us from the Paris Climate Treaty, which is fucking crazy. And I heard Paris Climate Treaty um Trump oh, um Trump WHO. Sorry, I didn't have any of this pulled up. I kind of decided to make this on a whim, but all of this is insane. Like, I would genuinely need to hear valid arguments for this. Why would we withdraw from the World Health Organization? This is this isolationism shit. And guess what? J Japan's economy went through the fucking ringer because for a long time after World War II, they were largely isolationist and they had to recover from like a lot of the war and damage because of Tokyo fire bombings and of course the two major atomic weapons that were dropped on them. But a lot of their policies of isolationism grossly harmed Japan's economy. So, not that this is an economic thing, but it talks to the idea of isolationism, which is I don't like. I'm not a fan of that. And don't get me wrong, I have a grandiose vision of the world as a whole. Like peak human civilization is the interconnectedness of every person on this planet, the cooperation and utilization of natural I have this muffler on my bike, by the way. Um Fucking squirrel, boy, that ADHD shit, boy. But it's the cooperation, utilization of natural resources. So Canada ships us Like I think over like 75% or Canada and Mexico together ship us 75% of our fucking fruits. We don't have the agriculture industry that they have. We don't have the damn what's the word I'm looking for? The mineral and industrial resources. I think Canada like they produce like I forget what statistic I just heard. I want to say it was 30% of the oil and minerals and things that are used by certain northwestern states. 30 fucking percent. Like that's not an insignificant number. So anyway, I don't like that we're withdrawing from the World Health Organization. I don't, especially coming from a president that like famously tried to deny COVID for a while and then was like, actually, never mind. Denying isn't working. Like, oh, I'm handling it so well. Bitch, come on, dude. So concerning, right? Okay. Paris Climate Treaty. Trump signs executive order directing U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Climate Committee. Or treaty, sorry. Again. Again. What? I didn't even know he did it the first time. I'd have to look. I'd have to look. I'd have to read this article, which I'll be honest, I'm not totally interested in doing at the moment. But I'm going to because I need to know. Um, Paris Landmark Agreement to combat worldwide global warming. Globe-wide global warming. And why are we distancing ourselves and strong-arming allies while being nice to, oh, we can make a deal with Russia and Ukraine. We can appease China. We can I don't understand this. I don't get it. No, don't get me wrong. Could we extract more value from our allies? Yes. But do it through diplomatic means, not economic pressure and trade wars. Like he just announced that we're gonna do 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico um as of February 1st. He said that yesterday. February 1st was his deadline. He's gonna enact trade 25% tariffs by then. I think he's a man of his fucking word at this point because my God, he's going crazy with that pen. So here's the deal as many of you learned in history class that are my age, about 25, listen, we learned about NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. It allowed and established free trade, I believe, don't quote me on it. I don't know much about NAFTA. You can Google it though. It's free trade between us. Canada, US, and Mexico. Went in effect in 1994, was replaced by USMCA. This is what I wanted to get into. It was replaced by USMCA, the US, United States, Mexico, Canada agreement, right? This was negotiated by Trump explicitly. This was his administration's work. He sought to do it. And now he's not content with the thing that he put in place, the agreement that he and his cabinet created. So guess what? Now in his words, whether he does it or not is another story, but he thinks it's a good idea to rebuke that agreement and say, you know what? Fuck it, tariffs. It was an agreement that you put into place. Tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. Take responsibility. If you're not happy with the state that we're in with Canada and Mexico, you have nobody but to blame. You have nobody to blame but yourself because you did this. And now, okay, great. You're gonna take steps to remedy the situation. Go sign another agreement like you did. Don't fucking tariff people. Economic pressure against allies, especially our two closest allies. When I say closest, I mean like geographically and diplomatically. It's fucking ridiculous. So there's that, right? Um, Global warming. Don't get me started about global warming. Global warming is one of the greatest problems facing humanity today. This is a world, I mean, it's global. Global warming. It has we're reaping the rewards currently of it because there's fucking snow in Texas year after year. Like legitimately, like this shit is crazy. The amount of extreme weather occurrences is evident. It's obvious. It's happening. Like it's not debatable at this point. Global warming is a well-established phenomenon. Now we can argue about its impacts and how catastrophic it is, but when you talk about the potential to destroy crop yields, to not have enough food to feed people, constant droughts, fires, And because oh, it's the government's fault that we're not doing things in California. Well, bitch, we're trying to stop it. So, we're trying to reel back our carbon emissions as to not cause more global warming, more droughts, more like there are efforts being made to fix these things. And what are you going to fucking do? We try and leave? Now, I don't know. I haven't read about this at all. Does this go into effect? Does this, because apparently he's tried once before. I don't know if it went into effect, but Biden undid it, or if he's just not allowed to make that unitary decision. Um, as executive then may not be within his purview of powers, so therefore is overrun by Congress. That could well be the case. But the fact that you're even attempting to take this action is wrong. Okay, cool. And to speak about like the deadliness of global climate change, that's the one thing. I mean, you want to talk about apocalypses. You want to talk about massive loss of life. You want to, and yes, I'm catastrophizing this because if it gets bad enough, you'll see people fighting over resources. You'll see civil wars break out. Like the potential destruction from global warming is extinction, or at least a massive loss of life. That's the potential. Yep. Cool. Oh, we could nuke each other too. That's cool. All that's great. Yeah, it could happen. Sure. Whatever. I think global warming is our one of our most immediate and greatest threats to the continued survival of humans on this planet. More so than us nuking, more so than diplomatic pressures, more so than war, more so than a fucking asteroid coming and hitting us. As bad as that is, I think that this is probably one of our we're destroying the very place we call home. We are shitting where we're eating. And when that shit gets smeared on your steak, you can't, don't complain. All right? You should have been taking your shits outside. So anyway, let's enough ranting and raving about the fucking the hypotheticals. Let's get into what's actually happening. And don't get me wrong, yes, I understand I'm catastrophizing that to a degree. But I also what are other like potentially world-ending problems that we're facing? Trump signed a letter indicating his withdrawal from the 2015 agreement, which provides targets to cut their emissions of greenhouse gases from, yep. Those targets are supposed to become more stringent over time. Okay, so each year over year, our our greenhouse emissions are supposed to get worse and worse. It's a gradual inclination of stricter standards. And facing a February 2025 deadline, the outgoing Biden administration offered a plan to cut by 60% by 2035 from Biden. Good. We love that. The Infrastructure Act and tax credits for EVs and finding sustainable energy, like all those things done by Biden were fucking amazing. And I salute that because EV is the way of the future. Being able to charge batteries via nuclear power, via not and natural renewable resources. I'm sorry, I'm getting a fucking headache right now. Okay, it's sneaking up on me, but it's annoying. All of this is like really good. Getting energy from renewable resources, not having to burn coal and do these things. Fucking awesome. Trump's order says the Paris is among international agreements that don't reflect U.S. values. What? The longevity of people on this planet, dickface? They steer American taxpayer dollars to countries that do not require or merit financial assistance in the interest of the American people. I'll be honest, we have the richest people in the planet in this country. Per capita, we have the highest GDP output. Per capita, we have more wealth in this country than any other nation. And on a per capita basis, of course, the raw size of China's economy, the large amount of available workforce that's there, of course, we don't on a raw basis. I think China's economy has surpassed ours. China's GDP versus US. Per capita though, because they have over 1 billion people, their GDP is dog shit. Okay, it's about 20% larger than the US's. But their per capita is uku buku dookie water. Like it is not. It's 30% over that. And their growth is fast and all that good stuff. Yeah, but per capita, we are the richest fucking country, hands down. Okay, which means that we are efficient as fuck. We're awesome. I think the United States allows everybody that comes here to be the best version of themselves, to chase the American dream, to live the lifestyle that you want through hard work, discipline, through the freedoms that we present our people, and through opportunity and equal treatment of people. I think that all of these allow people to be their best selves, which is like the greatest quality that America has. Okay. Instead of sexual track record. And this idea, again, I think this speaks to isolationism, which again is just not a good thing. Being a recluse, especially as the most powerful, North Korea is a fucking recluse. Why are we mimicking policies like this? Why are we withdrawing from our partners, our neighbors, and agreements that we've made? For what? So that way his friend that owns this factory, guess what? He doesn't have to cut his fucking greenhouse emissions. He can continue to pump away, use cheap energy in coal, and guess what? Get bigger profit margins. This is what happens when a fucking oligarch takes over democracy and gives money back to his friends. Market clean energy more than 2 trillion. The world 2.3. Okay, yeah, I don't care about this. While Trump led the first withdrawal adopted by shocked and angered nations across the globe, not a single country followed the US out the door, as they fucking shouldn't. Instead, the nations renewed their commitment to slowing climate change. After a record hot year from drought, hurricane, flood, wildfire, about half oppose. Man, come on. Somewhat or strongly favor, neither oppose, somewhat strongly oppose. Most people don't agree with this shit. Most people say, like, understand that climate change is bad. Then we just have this subgroup of fucking morons. I'll be honest, because what I've come to understand, especially talking to Stefan, is that these people have opinions and everybody's opinions deserve some consideration or value when they're based in reality. But what I've come to realize, and the reason that I was having discussions with Stefan was because I believed that while he held different opinions from mine, they were valuable because they were based and predicated on logic that was different from mine. But the reason I no longer wish to talk to him, the reason that I no longer wish to have these conversations is because I came to the realization that there is no logical, empirical, factual backing for the things that he espouses. So, when that's the case, I don't have respect for your opinion. You don't get a voice. I'm sorry. You don't. I'm starting to echo the idea of literacy tests of like, sorry, you're not competent enough to vote in my democracy. Of course, that's not the case. But god damn, baseless ideas. Baseless. And he doesn't recognize it. But anyway, this subgroup, that's great that they feel this way and they're entitled to, but my fucking God, how can you reach them? How do we reach these people with the facts? How do we get them to adopt a different worldview where it's not just based off vibes and feelings? I thought Republicans were supposed to be one, the party of law and order, two, thought it was facts over feelings. I'm sorry, at this point, it's not. You guys operate based off vibes. Ah, fuck it. Let's just it's a America's a giant vibe sesh. I'm not gonna continue reading this. I don't give a fuck. At this point, I the fact that he even attempted to do this, whether it'll go into effect or not, is dog shit. It's reprehensible. It is bad. I just thought about something. I do want to get into this, but because Lord knows I love my immigrants. Oh my God, I love them all. Just gobble them all up. My goodness. Man, I was about to get off the fucking. I was about to go off the hinges there, boy. Ooh, I want to say it. No, I'm not going to. Okay. Um, pardon all. of Jan 6. Okay, so check this out. 1,500 people were indicted, prosecuted, and charged with crimes during January 6th insurrection that negated or attempted to negate the peaceful transfer of power. Terrible. One of the most horrific events in America's history. This will go down in the history books. He pardoned. He didn't say, hey, Vance made a logical concession. Hey, let's just pardon, let's just pardon the let's just pardon the guys that were, trespassed and didn't actually assault police officers, the non-violence. Trump was like, yeah, yeah, maybe. Or fucking not. The second I get in office, pardons fucking everybody. Blanket pardon. All of them. Fucking everyone. The sweeping pardons, one of the largest investigations, yep, and commuted the sentence of 14 of his fucking supporters. I'm sorry. Maybe 1,500 wasn't all. How many people charged during Jan 6? Let me fact check myself. I heard it was. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? It was everybody. I was praying to God the media I consumed was biased and untrue, but us Democrats really are. Um, Terrio was serving 22 years. This was Enrique Terrio, whatever the fuck this loser's name is, was the leader of the Proud Boys. They were caught on Telegram, I think. No, or was it just blatant SMS? I don't even think they encrypted anything. They, in a conspiratorial manner, in a coordinated manner, with weapons, with the intent of harming people, stormed the Capitol on January 6th. It was proven in their court cases. It showed premeditation. That's why his sentence is fucking through the roof. He didn't just punch a cop, which is bad enough. He didn't just punch a cop. He didn't just break through a window. He didn't just like obstruct the peaceful transfer of power. No, he didn't do any of those silly fucking things. Those minor fucking things. He didn't do any of that. He did all of it and then premeditated it. He had the intent, along with 300 other Proud Boys, to go, or 100, I forget what the number was. I think it may, I don't know. But regardless, this group went in, and guess what? Premeditated, carried out the acts that they did. Sorry, buddy, you planned this shit. Then don't ever forget that Trump never condemned the Proud Boys. He was proud of them. And in fact, on numerous occasions, told them to stand back, not stand down, stand back and stand by. Bitch, what? Stand by for what? Stand fucking by for what? He pardoned all 1,500 of them. These 1,500 people will be his most loyal subjects now. They might go pull this dumb shit again. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. And quite frankly, it's wrong. I'm not the biggest cop lover. I'm not. I'm also not defund the police. I have an issue with bad cops that like are like authority trip. I think everybody does. Largely, I try to like stay away from police interactions, but I've met good cops. I've never had a negative experience with a cop. We've been like fairly cordial. That being said, I don't wish for like a ton of interactions. I don't wish to provoke them. I don't hope they don't provoke interactions with me. I don't hate police, but I don't fucking love them either. I understand that they're a necessity. I'm not some crazy liberal that says defund them all. Fuck them. Fuck those crazy liberals. I'm right there with y'all. All right. I think that anyway, I'm not here to get into police reform. I can make a video on that later. This is insane. The party of justice and law, or law and justice, and whatever the fuck that they said of law and order. Bad bitches. Um, and you know what's worse? There isn't going to be any political backlash. Not to mention, yeah, Supreme Court said that this was, I mean, not Supreme Court, Colorado Supreme Court said that this was fucking that this was I forget what you call this, insurrection. They ruled on it. They said it was an insurrectionary act taken by Trump, and then he goes and pardons all of his fucking cronies, all of his friends, and all of his fucking actual cult-like supporters. Finally, to the point that I wanted to discuss, he is already testing the bounds of the Constitution. All fucking ready. 22 states sue to stop Trump's birthright citizenship order. Excuse me. If you when was this? 23 hours ago. Let me read this shit. Protecting the meaning. Oh no. No, we're protecting. Oh, we have to protect the identity of America. What the fuck does that mean? As a nation built by immigrants. What it means, I'll be honest, this is I hate to do it. I hate to call Trump racist because he's really just like xenophobic and whatever else. But my fucking God, it is like a white supremacy dog whistle. I think you can check all of my videos on race. I am not a stickler for race. I don't think your racial identity should define you. I think people are more than their racial identity, they're more than their culture and ethnic identities. But I say all that to say, I don't take I don't hold race in high regard, but my fucking God, if this isn't the most white supremacist fucking dog whistle I've ever heard, protecting value of American citizenship. What does it mean to be motherfucking American, baby? It's a I be this bad bitches. This is the executive order. The provision rightly repudiated the Supreme Court's decision, the shameful decision in Dred Scott v. Sanford, which misinterpreted the Constitution as permanently excluding people of African descent from eligibility from the United States solely based on race. The 14th Amendment. Here we go, baby. This is the problem I have with this executive order. Because there's no law, the supreme law of the land is the Constitution. You cannot do anything that is unconstitutional. You cannot create laws. You can't operate outside the bounds of the Constitution. This is the framework by which all government institutions and personnel operate. Like that. Got some meth mouth. That being said, the 14th Amendment establishes naturalization and birthright citizenship for people, intended by the framers of the Constitution. Because you know why? They understood that America is largely, guess what? It was immigrant population. It was the French. It was the Italians. It was the Irish. It was fucking everybody. Now there were some racist shits because you're not really an immigrant unless you're white, but we like the white ones. But regardless of the framers, idea at the time, they understood immigration. And it was held in a different regard at that time. But the 14th Amendment has never been interpreted to extend citizenship universally to everyone in the United States. That's not true. The Supreme Court has ruled on birthright citizenship over numerous court cases. I believe numerous court cases in its past, and I believe they will continue to when they assess the legality of this executive order. But that being said, you cannot go against the 14th Amendment because it's a law of the land. If you want to change the 14th Amendment, then you have to amend the Constitution through a two-thirds majority in Congress. You can't do it through an executive order. He is asserting past the point, past the legal bounds of his office. He's asserting that we're not going to do this birthright shit anymore. Has always excluded birthright citizens, persons who were born in the United States, but not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Consistent with this understanding, the Congress has further specified through legislation a person born in the United States and subject to jurisdiction thereof is a national citizen, generally mirroring the 14th Amendment text. Among the categories of individuals born but not subject to the jurisdiction, the privilege, when the person's mother was unlawfully present, when the mother's presence in the United States was lawful but temporary, no visa holders, no TPS, no none of that shit. Such as, but not limiting to visa programs, work visa, father was not United States. Yep, okay. Listen, listen. The 14th Amendment provides the subject to jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States wherein they reside. It is my interpretation that guess what? If you're within the United States as a visa holder, you are subject to the jurisdiction of the laws in the United States. What the fuck do you mean these people aren't in subject to the jurisdiction? I don't know. I would have to read a lot more on this, and I'm sure there's some legalese. I'm sure there's some fucking nuance here that, yep, some fucking average guy like me without tons of reading and research could fail to understand. I'm fully willing to admit that. I know that, like, for reading my Supreme Court cases, for understanding precedent, for fucking for understanding the decisions made in bodies of law, it requires a lot, especially because I'm not an expert on these things. It requires a fuck ton of research on my end. Intuitively, this is all based off of intuition and my limited legal understanding and my limited knowledge of cases in the United States. This doesn't seem to logically follow at all. Okay, subsection A, supply born 30 days of the after 30 days from the date of this order. Okay. Shall be constructed, construed to affect the entitlement. Yeah. Enforcement. Yeah. And then okay. This, what does this executive order mean? I think well, at a meta level, on a high level, on a high top down view here, he is directly willing to oppose the Constitution. He is willing to enact things that are illegal until the court until they have time to rule it otherwise, right? I think the fact that states are suing is indicative that something is wrong. Um, and I'll be honest, it scares me. It scares me more and more because every time this guy, I mean, we're 2 days in, and he is pushing fucking bounds. He is trying. And the American system, the judicial system, the legislative system, have to endure 4 years of limit testing. He almost got us on January 6th, and that was one day. My friend, with the right counsel, with the right team behind his back, we are going to see gross sweeping change, especially with the legislative, executive, and judicial bodies all leaning conservative. I'll be honest, I'm more scared now than ever. And to be honest, it was largely a meme. Oh, fascism, he's going to take over. Our institutions will protect. Pushing the limits and is not appropriate. I knew he was going to do it, but to this level, on the second fucking day, brother, this is this is going to be a shit show, and it scares me. It's going to be worse than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, I think it's time to be concerned. I really do. Um, I don't agree with really virtually any of the executive orders that he signed. We'll see how they play out, how they affect America moving forward. This is just my kind of 2 cents. And with this executive order particularly, because it is outside the purview of the duties of the President of the United States to go against the Constitution, he broke his oath on the day he took it to with to uphold and protect the Constitution. He broke that shit the first day in office. Not even a full 24 fucking hours. If that doesn't, cause I mean, regardless of how you feel about it, if you think immigrants are the scum of the fucking earth, good for you. Fuck it. Let's lynch them all. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that on YouTube. Shouldn't have said that. Shouldn't have left my mouth, period. I don't believe that. But if that's how you think, fuck it, let's lynch them all. Let's kick every black person back to Africa. Let's fucking scrub their skin till they're all white. Let's hold them down and do it, goddammit. If that's how you think, great. Good for you. I don't support you, but you're entitled to your opinion. Fuck it. Regardless of how you feel about this executive order, whether you support it or not, I mean, sorry, support the idea of it or not, no matter your feelings about birthright citizenship, whether you're for it or against it, what you cannot be for as an American citizen, what you cannot condone, what you cannot support, and ergo, vis-a-vis, not support this bill or not support this executive order is because it directly opposes the law of the land. The thing that we love and hold so dear and that our office holders swear to protect, the Constitution. Buddy, this doesn't get any more blatant. This doesn't get any more reprehensible. It's as bad. My mom's texting me. It doesn't get any fucking worse than this. So that's my 2 cents. Um, we can find a way to end birthright citizenship, not like this. If you really hate it that much, we can find a way to do it. Not like this. This is authoritarian. It's it's a unitary way of approaching law. Too much power has been granted to that of the federal government. I mean, to the office of the president. We are encroaching grossly on the idea of authoritarianism and a monarchy where too much power is vested in one branch. I feel like we're grossly approaching that. And the legislative branch is a large body. It's slow to act because of its massive size. And I do feel like the legislative body is the weakest body of the government right now, which is ironic because guess what? That is the body most representative of the people. Damn, they blowing me up. I do. And I think that's ironic. I think that's funny. I think it shows a gross shift in values. I think a gross shift in values away from how the framers envisioned America. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up now. I've yapped enough. Um, y'all have a good one, bro.